We find out that Pi and his family moved into Canada, and that they're selling the animals from their zoo. Animals aren't cheap, so the family should be making a good amount of cash. And with that money, you would think taking a plane would be convenient. But no, the low-budget cargo ship with the animals makes more sense to them. Fast forward a few long nights on the ship to when randomly, Pi hears an explosion. Pi decides to go out and explore, only to find out that there's a massive storm, and he almost gets hit by a huge wave. He sees two crew members and they throw him overboard, off on a lifeboat. The ship sinks, and along with his family, his old life. He is now on a lifeboat, but he's not alone. There's a hyena, an orangutan, a zebra with a broken leg, and Richard Parker, a tiger. Anyways, Richard Parker is under a tarp and doesn't seem to care about what's going on. Pi also doesn't seem too afraid of the animals, especially when Orange Juice, the orangutan, calms him down. It's almost like Orange Juice is a motherly figure. You might want to remember this for later. The hyena gets hungry and senses the pain that the zebra was in. The zebra was killed first, being the weakest. Then the orangutan, but she didn't go without a fight. But all this does not matter, as Richard Parker is not only bigger and stronger, he is very hungry. Pi is going through his daily routine, and notices how Richard Parker isn't doing anything. When I say that, I mean he literally is doing nothing. He is blind and weak, and soon Pi will join him. When Pi goes blind, he can't fish, so he kinda just lays there to die. While in this quitting process, he talks to two people, in his head, I think. Richard Parker with a French accent, and a fellow survivor, which I think is himself. Pi and Richard Parker talk about food and if he has ever killed anyone. Then he talks to the survivor about trading. The survivor then gets eaten by Richard Parker, and Pi isn't blind anymore. But did any of this really happen? Then he finds an island made of algae with meerkats. He decides to crash there, and also Richard Parker isn't blind anymore either. Richard Parker goes on a killing spree on the meerkats, and Pi eats algae, finds some fruit with teeth in it, and decides that's enough imaginary island for 1 week. We can see the mental damage that has happened to Pi, so the next part they hit land. Mexico. And upon doing so, Richard Parker leaves for a jungle immediately. Leaving Pi to be sad, the thing that kept him alive has left. He gets rescued and tells the story to two interviewers. They don't believe him, and he tells them a second story. In this story, there are no animals. In this story, there is a Pi, his mother, a cook, and a sailor with a broken leg. Sound familiar? The sailor dies first, having to amputate his leg. The cook cuts him up for bait and also eats a little of him. Pi's mother hates him for this disgusting acts he has done and tries to fight him, and gets killed. Pi and the cook fight, where Pi kills him. After that, Pi is alone until he gets to land. Now why is this important? 1. This story makes sense because telling the same story but with animals is less traumatic. 2. Richard Parker and Pi are the same character. It was Pi's survival side. We are all animals when placed in unusual situations. 3. This book is like religion. They start the same, end the same, and have the same meaning. You could believe the first story was true, but someone can think the second story was true. But in the end, this was a story about a boy who lost his family and almost his life, surviving the ocean for 227 days, and that's all that matters.